Good afternoon, and welcome to the Lexbe Live platform demo. We'll have about a few seconds before we get started, and some people are still signing in. Again, my name is Frank Krafka. I'm a eDiscovery Solutions Director here at Lexbe, and I will be taking you through the platform this afternoon. Again, I do appreciate you joining us. We'll give you a few more seconds, a few more people signing in, and then we'll be ready to go. Okay, that looks like everybody, so we'll go ahead and we will get started today. Again, thank you for joining the Lexbe eDiscovery platform demonstration. Lexbe, to give you a little background about the company, we have been in business for around 12 years, and we are one of the first, if not the first, do-it-yourself, purpose-built do-it-yourself eDiscovery platform out there. We wanted to be a fully featured product and yet be extremely cost-effective. We are one of the industry's fastest eDiscovery processing and document review softwares, and we believe we offer the industry's fastest return on investment. You can see here we've got some surveys done. We receive very high marks throughout the industry. We receive the best ROI in the industry in about 6 months or less, and we have extremely fast deployments of our software. It is web-based. Hold on, we're having some audio issues. We're going to get those checked out right now and see if we can get this work done. All right, I'm going to go ahead and we'll get the audio taken care of. Give me 1 second. We'll be right with you. Okay, just let us know if you can hear now. Hopefully that's better. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move through. Sorry about that. Had some audio issues, but they seem to be taken care of. This is a chart of what we expect to happen in the eDiscovery industry. ESI growth is going to continue to grow. You can see that as we continue on to 2025 and beyond, we feel. Lexbe is cloud-based. We do offer unlimited scalability. Lexbe can scale from gigs to terabyte to handle any size job that you may have. We also push terabyte a day through our system when it comes to processing the TIFF. So that's a little example of processing speeds. Next slide here is going to show we are in a very secure facility. Our data is actually housed at the AWS facility right outside of DC in Maryland. These are some of the advanced security certifications that the facility does hold. According to Gardner, we do reside in the upper right quadrant when it comes to eDiscovery software. We are considered a leader in cloud-based eDiscovery. We also have one thing I believe separates Lexbe from a lot of our competitors is our Lexbe professional services team. This is a group of former litigation paralegals They are certified certified eDiscovery experts, and we do assign one of those team members to your account to help move your matters through our system. They're there to answer questions. They're there to assist you at a moment's notice if you do need assistance. And the thing again that does separate them is that we do try to match them with your firm's practice areas so that their background can benefit you right away when it comes to support of the Lexbe platform. Types of files that we process, we can take and process most major files, if not all major files. Our processing takes place and the data is landed in what we call our Uber index. The Uber index is a way to return the most crucial data back to you as quick as possible. And what's going to happen is we do OCR all your data to searchable PDF, and then we take out or we extract the native text, any of the OCR text, any metadata that we can pull, as well as any translated text, and we drop that into, again, what we call our Uber index. And this is going to give you the most complete index and search platform in the industry, we feel. As far as affordability go, we wanted to be a very cost-effective platform. We do offer a couple types of plans. We offer a month-to-month plan, and we offer discount plans, and we have a very competitive gig price when it comes to subscription plans. Sub $5, even lower than that, depending on your data size and your subscription length. But that's one thing we really wanted to focus on, is getting eDiscovery platform into the hands of firms that just don't have the budget to compete against some of the larger firms that might use your relativities and things like that. So value-wise, Lexbe is an extremely cost-effective platform. And we'll go ahead and go through that now. Again, my name is Frank Krafka. If you would like a quote after this, or if you have any other questions about Lexbe after the demo we're about to go through, please let me know, and we will go ahead and dive into the platform. At this point, I do have a few polling questions, and we'll do those now, and then we'll be ready to get into the platform. And we'll give that, there's a few more people answering, so we'll give that a few more seconds. And we've got one more. And that should wrap that up. Okay, everybody should now see my screen on the monitor. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a high-level overview of the Lexbe eDiscovery platform. Again, our data is housed at the AWS facility outside of DC, out in Maryland. And we truly wanted to be a do-it-yourself, easy-to-use platform, like I said before, to give you the ability to compete against some of the larger firms that have large budgets. So what you're looking at here, this is Lexbe. It is cloud-based. Some of the advantages of being cloud-based is we are platform agnostic, which means you can be a PC house, you can be a Mac house. We have clients that will use their tablets, and even in emergency cases, we'll use their cell phones. So Lexbe offers you the opportunity to access your data from anywhere as long as you have internet connection, and we free you from having to have that infrastructure and support that infrastructure when it comes to hardware and software. We will go ahead and update that. You can see the drop downs across the top. This is going to be how I move through Lexbe and interact with the data that will show up here. You can see I've got 2 cases in the system. Again, we are a gigabyte-based system, so you can have as many cases in the system and as many users in the system that you would like. There are no extra fees for that. So we'll go ahead and we'll dive right in, and we will land on our landing page. Is going to be the browse area. The reason we brought you to the browse area is this is going to be one of the two tabs as you spend most of your time on in Lexbe while you're doing review. You've got the search panel here also, but we drop you on browse to give you some general information. One, you can start right away getting into your review by clicking on any of the links here. These are your documents. But we give you the information. We let you know how many documents you have. You have 28,166 docs in this matter at this time. And you can see, depending on the fields I have up across the top, this is the information that is pertinent to me. Now, you can come in and you could have a different view. You could have different fields up here, or as a firm, you can decide to lock these fields down. This is information that I find important. I like to have the metadata up top. At any time, if it is unlocked, I can go ahead and I can change those fields out. I can add dates. I can add total page number. We can add custodian if we wanted, base number. So anything that you feel is pertinent or that you would like to see on the reports, the fields that you do have up will generate when you do run the reports. You can go ahead and select those or remove them at any time. And you can also see here on the right, I've got some custom fields. If I wanted to add those, I could hit save, and they would then show up, and I would see that information populated here. You can also filter. 28,000 docs is quite a bit to go through. So if I wanted to here, I can go ahead and I can select my filters. And you can filter against dates, against custodians. You can filter against metadata down here. And then what I find very important is you can filter against the tags that you've created in the system, and you've started to tag those docs. So it then becomes easier to pull those documents back once you start your review and start getting ready for production. What we'll do now, just so we can get started, we'll show you the search screen in a minute, is we're going to show you how to get documents into a case. You'll come in here to cases, and in here you're going to be able to add information to a matter like contacts, any details. But right here where it says add case documents, we're going to go ahead and click on that. And that's going to bring up our document screen. And you can see I've got multiple batches in here already. It gives me information of who loaded the batch, was it assigned to a custodian, doc source, date that it was loaded. And to get that uploaded, I just go ahead and click on the upload button, and I'll add some general information right here. Upload batch, a doc source. If I know the custodian, I could go ahead and add that now. And then we are going to go ahead and, like I said, we will perform OCR on your documents to turn them into searchable PDFs. We will strip out that information, text extraction, OCR text metadata, any translations, and we'll move that into our Uber index. And to get the data into a platform, it's as easy as drilling down to a hard drive or a folder on your document. Or if you have a PST or a loose folder, you can go ahead and just simply drag and drop into the platform. And you can see that what happens here is it dumps it into, or breaks it up into 2 megabyte chunks, and then that's pushed up to our servers. One thing I will say here is, depending on the bandwidth, I tell most of my clients to hit about 15, 20 gig to let us know, and we can set up a secure FTP, or you can actually send us a hard drive if you'd like, and then we will go ahead and load that for you. Or depending on your bandwidth, we'll go ahead and you could push that from your office. Again, that's dependent on the amount of data you have in your bandwidth to move it to our platform. So once the data is up there, you're ready to start review. Now there are a couple ways to get the data. I can go ahead and I can click on any batch that I want to see if I just want to look at that. As far as diving into a batch I may have loaded, or if I want to go ahead and hit the browse button, I can go ahead and hit browse, and that's going to bring me back to that screen you saw here, so I could dive in this way using filters. The way I like to search documents in the system is with the search button. The reason why I like the search button, you'll see this now, is the documents are gone, and we've got some differences here on the right, but the main thing is I've got a search bar, and now I can go ahead and I can use my keywords, and using keywords is going to get me to that needle in the haystack a little bit quicker. You can see here on the right some things that were added to the search page versus the browse page. I've got the type of search I want to do. So I can do a Boolean, I can do an exact phrase, any of the words or all the words. I've got modifiers here. Underneath that, I can go ahead and look at the searches I've done. So I've got some shared searches and I've got some pinned searches. And underneath here, the recent, Lexbe will hold 5 of your most recent searches. And then when you do a 6th, it would drop it off. So if I pin a search, and that's as easy as hitting edit here, and then finding the search, naming it, and then either putting it in pinned or shared. A pinned search is something that I can only see, something that I'm going to use. Maybe I haven't developed enough, but I'm ready to go ahead and just work with that up by my own. When I do get ready to share it and I think it's done, I can go ahead and just click shared, and it'll move it from pinned to shared. But these are saved. Either one of these are saved. The major difference is people can see this if they have access to my case. People cannot see these until I share them with everybody. Below that, you do have the filters. You have the fields. You can delete docs if you have permissions. You can do a multi-doc edit, and then we can also export to Excels or briefcases. And finally, we can add to productions or review sets. So we give you a lot of capabilities on this screen to get you through your data as quick as possible at a very efficient way. So we'll go ahead and we'll pick up a search now. And you can see by using a Boolean search, I was able to drop that from 28,000 docs down to 321. You can see the documents underneath. It'll give you a little information here under the title, and then in the fields that I've chosen, you can see the subject, you can see attachment. I like to use attachment to know that it's part of a family. One thing we'll show you later in the review panel is that we have the families grouped at that point, because depending on how I sort here, this may not be family, it may not be in family order, so it may not be parent, child, child, just depending on how you sort these fields. We can go ahead and we'll pick a doc now, and we will open, you can see it opens another tab, and that's another benefit of being web-based. One thing I like to show people is if I've got multiple monitors, I can now slide this over, and I can go ahead and see multiple things. I can add multiple tabs up, multiple docs up, and I can work through that on multiple screens. But this is our review panel. What you're seeing here on the left, these are the views of the document. And on the right, this is how I'm going to interact with that document on the left. So we give you the hits view, and this is my favorite view of all, because what it does is you can see that it shows the highlighted words, my highlighted keywords, but it gives me context around those words. It gives me a page number, a quick link to the PDF version or the text version. But by looking at the keywords and reviewing the context around it, hopefully that may give me an idea if I need to spend more time on this document or if I can shelve it for a later time. I do have the original. When I click on the original, that's going to ask me to open the document on my desktop in the originals. This is a Word doc, so it's going to ask me to open in the original format of Word. Or if I have a PowerPoint, it's going to ask to open up in PowerPoint. I do have an HTML version. We have our PDF versions here. I do like the page version. This allows me to take a large PDF and move through it by picking the page I want to see. You can see I've got a Bates number here, so I can also go through it by Bates number. We do have a text version. And then you're going to see it produced and translated. Those aren't highlighted because I haven't done that yet for this document. We have redaction. And so you're going to be able to see a redacted document here. And then you can jump back to a PDF if you wanted to see the clean document. And we also have annotation. So with the annotation, you can notice the highlights. So if we have multiple people in the system, someone could be a purple, someone could be a blue, there's yellow. So that's one way to start watching who's doing what in a document. And then we've got a compare screen. On this compare screen, this is going to be a way to look at documents side by side and see the differences of those docs. And I think I can show you that right here. What you'll see here is this is that compare screen. You can see that the documents are laid out side by side, and you can see the highlight showing the differences between the two. You can have a question. Yes, you can search by Bates number. You can also filter, and let's go back here real quick. So if I look in this filters, you can see down here there's going to be a Bates number area, and so you'll be able to search by Bates in here. You can also again search by tag. You can put a Bates number in that line. Here's a Bates right here. You can give it a prefix, do a start number, end number, and that'll pull those documents back. You could put a Bates number up here and pull that back. So yes, you can search by Bates number. And then so that compare screen, like I said, it's going to highlight the differences. So now how do I interact with these documents? You can see over here under the Discovery tab, we're going to have general information about a document. You can see a document ID. You can see some custodian information, file path. We've got some generic coding that's built into the platform. So these will travel from matter to matter. So they're hard coded into the platform. You can see responsive, non-responsive, attorney-client privilege, attorney work product. So you've got those that you'll always have. But then as I scroll down, you see metadata. If we've got the metadata, we'll pull it here. But as we scroll down, we've got tags. So these are the tags that aren't hard-coded in the system. These are tags. You can add as many as you'd like. And you could have a checkbox or you could have a text field. So depending on how you want or what type of response you want to elicit from this tag, you may have people write text in versus have them just check A or B. You can, again, have as many as you want, and there are multiple ways to add tags. So before you start review or you start a matter, you could come in and you can add tags here underneath management, right? And management is going to be where you you could split PDFs, you can manage folders, you can manage user profiles, add your tags right here. Or if you're in review and we wanted to keep it again as seamless as possible, you could just go ahead and click on the add a new field here, and it's going to let you pick from an existing field, or you can add a new section if you like. You could choose check or text and then hit OK, and that's going to go ahead and that'll then give you a new tag down here. Now these can be arranged in order of usage. You may want your highly used tags up here towards the top so you don't have to scroll down. And then as they go further down, you scroll down, you may have your less used tags at the bottom. So on this first tab of Discovery, it's the way you're going to interact. You're going to tag. You're going to get general information about a document. On the next tag, on the next tab right here, what you'll see here is, and someone had a question about dupes, and I'm going to get to that here in a second underneath the related, but so we'll be there in 1 second. On the Docs tab, this is where you're going to do your redactions by opening the redaction editor. You're going to do your annotations here. You can put general information about a folder or give it a description if you want. And also if you have a translation. If you didn't have a lot of translations to do, maybe 1 or 2 docs, and you already had those done, this is where you would upload that translate to fill this in to tie it to that document. But the next tab over, this is going to be the notes section. And a lot of my clients use this for depositions. So when you get to the notes, these are going to be tied to this document either by page or by document. And they are kept for the entire life of the matter, right? So until you delete it. And you can either share these or keep them private, but they are searchable and you can use them, like I said, in depots or when you're going to meet with co-counsel if you want to have questions and all. Just by going to analysis and hitting the case note section, you can see that you're going to start to add a lot of notes and you'll have a lot of notes in the system, but they're sortable. So I can sort, let's say I wanted to see only depots. I could search for anything that had depot in it and maybe Depot Smith. And then I've got my question and I've got a quick link, so I don't have to search for that doc. I don't have to tag it if I don't want to, depot. I can just search for it now because I have a note tied to it, and my supporting documentation is with that note. So that becomes a very helpful, quick, and efficient way to get to some information in a depot if you have a lot of questions and supporting documentation. The next section is facts and issues, or facts. This is another area that we see a lot of clients using. And basically what this is, you're going to want to build your issues into the matter before you start review. And then as you're going through documents, you're going to be able to tie these documents to that fact or to that issue. And that's going to start to show how documents interact. And I'm going to go back to the analysis area where my notes were, and I'll land on facts and issues. But that's going to start to show relationship of documents inside your data universe. So you can see I've got dates here that I have to add, but once they're added, I can start to assign documents to that. You can see it's starting to group them out here, and it goes and it starts to build that timeline. So by using your facts and issues and using your notes, it becomes a very, very powerful tool in showing how your data kind of exists inside your data universe. So, we see a lot of people using that also. And getting to the dupe question, on the related tab, you're going to see duplicates here. There are none because of the way we handle duplicates in the system. So what happens on ingestion, your duplicates are going to be tagged and then suppressed. At that point, what I tell most of my clients is we are a gigabyte-based system, so I tell my clients to go ahead and delete the dupes out. If you don't want to delete them, we can save them to a USB key and send them back to you, but you don't really need 5 copies of the same email. You don't need to review them. Now, however, that being said, this is here because we have had clients in the past say, I need to see all the dupes. So your dupes would show up here. But what you do see here that's extremely important is you see your family. And we talked about having the family in one area because you want to see the parent, and then we can jump between the parent and children without having to worry about how we filter our fields on the search screen. You'll also see email threading here. And then you'll see near dupes. Email threading is something that we have. We started out and it was very basic, and I can show you our beginning email threading here real quick. So I'll show you that, and then I'll show you what we've done. So we've done some upgrades to our email threading, but we'll go to one here real quick. So this is going to give us an example of the email thread. Let's see if we can. You can see that your threads here are going to be just kind of in email form like this. So you have to go in and open each one. That's the way we used to do it. What we did was we had a lot of clients asking for a more robust, more dynamic email threading. And so we were able to do that. And now what you're going to see is we've made it more interactive, but this is our new email threading. You can see now the flow of the emails. You can see your data. If I click on 2 of these, you'll see your metadata here. You can see the emails that are missing. Some other enhancements that we've also added. If it's email that belongs to a superset, which would be it has the same exact data as the email before it, you'll see a green dot. If it's a duplicate, you'll see a number in here, so that you start to use this. It becomes a very dynamic email threading screen. And this version of our email threading should hit within the next 2 weeks as we end July here. So we're always trying to make updates and trying to give clients what they want. Again, at a very cost-effective in a cost-effective manner. So everything you see in Lexbe is included in your subscription. There are no added fees for deduping. There are no added fees for email threading. When it comes to TAR, there are going to be no added fees for TAR, right? So it's all inclusive. It's a very, again, we want to be a very strong value proposition for you and your clients. One of the things we have also just added to Lexbe is transcription. So now you can take audio and have that transcripted, and you can then search and treat that like a document. So what you would get is you would get a text document that looks kind of something like this. And I didn't have any transcriptions. I am going to have one next time I do a demo. I'll be able to show that. But this is what it's going to do. So it'll take that audio file. It'll show you how many speakers you have. And then underneath, it's going to just break out the audio into text. And you can see it's going to give you where each text line happened in that audio. So when you do play the audio back, you can go to that point and look that up on the audio version. And then finally, near dupes. So near dupes on here are extremely important. And what your near dupe is going to be, if you have a contract as your signed contract as your prime document, some of the near dupes you can expect to see would be that same contract unsigned, or that same contract unsigned with document or notes in the margins. So your near dupes are extremely important, and they will show up here also. That basically is your review piece of Lexbe. Some things I point out here now, normally you can see help and support in the top. Underneath help, that's going to bring you, no matter where you are in the platform, that is going to bring you to the help for that section. So you can see I was in document viewer, it brought me to document viewer, and I can go through now and I can hopefully move myself through any issues that I may have. I can also search the entire site if I have a problem that I know of, but I'm in a different area and I want to get to that. Support right here. Support's going to take you to our website, and that's where you're going to be able to enter a ticket. You'll be able to start a chat. You'll see important numbers that you need to get you to that help that you need. Now, we do have 24-hour tech support, 24/7 tech support. Again, it's with our support team, our professional services people, our ex-litigation paralegals, and you will have one of those professional services team members will be assigned to your account, and then they do have a team that supports them, but at least we assign someone to your account. You'll get to know them, and what our hope is that they become an extension of your firm, that they won't know exactly how your day-to-day is until they work with you a while, but their background will be in a field of practice that makes them useful and useful to your firm right away, right? So they're going to have input right away, we hope. But that is the review area. And so the next thing that we want to do is we want to go ahead and we want to produce documents. So we would dive into production job, and we'll go ahead and we'll start a new production job, and we're going to go ahead and hit create. And a couple things that we want to point out here is when you go in and build a production job, you're going to give it a title. You can give it a password, and you can go ahead and give it an expiration date. You're going to add your base information here, number of digits, any custom documentation or designations, and then finally the production types. You'll see here that it says standard, and you'll see standard plus TIFF. So what we've done is our standard production is PDF only, and the standard plus TIFF is going to give you a PDF and an image file. The reason for this is we've seen that not everybody's asking for that image anymore. The people are using just more PDF, but in our system, an image takes up more space, so it's basically a TIFF tax, right? If you don't need the image, then don't do it, and it saves you space to use for more important documents in our system. As you come down, you'll see that you do have the ability to produce native emails. You do have to check this box. It's not something that we say we advise to do. We just had a client that was ordered by the court. We do see it on occasion. So we built this in. It is a warning, hey, you're about to produce natives, but you do have the ability to do so. You go ahead and hit update. And then all we have to do is go back to those documents that we tagged, right? You went through, you did your search, you've tagged your documents. You'll pull them up here, and then you can add them to a production as easy as, and this is going to be the same. You'll add documents to a review batch the same way as you'll come in and you can pull them up by all docs page. But for a production, we go ahead and we'll pick this page. We scroll down to our productions area, and then we find 24th. This is actually showing us that we've selected our 25 docs, which is good, and that we're getting a total of 93 docs. The reason for the 93 is that we are going to take families at this point in time. We go ahead and we add those docs, and then we'll come back to our production. And what you're going to see is we're going to produce 88 docs. We have 5 of those. The reason it's not 93 is 5 of those are going to be work product or privilege. But we did grab the 93 docs that we were told on the other screen. And then you're ready to go over here and run production. Not yet. We go ahead and we built in a QA step. So with our subscription plans, to increase value, we include all your standard uploads and exports, right? We do QA those when we run an ingestion or an export. We QA it on our end. But for you, being that it is a do-it-yourself system, we wanted to build a QA step for you into the production, and that's how we validate. So when you click on validate, it's going to take you through each one of these sections. And as I go through the sections, it's going to ask me if there are emails or documents. It'll bring them up, and it'll say, you know, look at these docs. Should they join your responsive set, or should they be marked as privileged? And it's going to require you to go through each one of those emails and say, yes, expand my responsive set, or no, this is not. And then when you get done, you can see when you get to validated, that means I've gone through and I've verified everything the system's asking me to verify. I can go ahead and hit return to production, and then I can run that production. When that production is done running, you're going to go ahead and you'll get an email saying your production, you'll get notified that that's done, and now you're ready to send it off to opposing counsel. And you can send it off via link. You can send that via a hard drive or USB key. We can set up an FTP, and then we also have the brief. You know, you can send a briefcase if you'd like to share documents also. Once that's done, there are some other things you can do inside the system. We do create a privilege log as you go through your review, depending on your permissions, and you can assign people permissions to review docs, but not upload docs. So depending on the permissions you have, and we normally set up one admin, you can come in and the admin has the ability to add to an account, create cases, add users. You could manage your users, you could manage your cases. You can also create custom fields. You have review tracking. You can split PDFs. You can manage custom fields. You have your discovery. Your 2 search areas are here, browse and search. Analysis is going to cover any reporting that you want done. It's got your case dashboard. It will house your custodians, but it also has your facts and issues and your case notes. And then under cases, this is where you're going to add data. So as you go from left to right or home through, that's pretty much how your case is going to run in the system, right? You're going to go ahead and you're going to add your case documents. You're going to do your review, and then you'll produce. So if you are a reviewer, this is, again, where you're going to spend the majority of your time in the Lexbe system. But that is a very quick, high-level overview of Lexbe. We'll go ahead and see if there are any questions out there. You could go ahead and ask them now, and we'll get them answered. If you do want more information, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to set you up with a more in-depth demo. You saw a lot today. We had some intermittent sound issues, so I'd be more than happy to set up a time to do one-on-one or one-to-a-group demos for you. Are there any questions at this point in time? Well, I appreciate everybody joining us today for the demo, and I do look forward to hearing from you here in the near future, and I hope you have a good rest of the afternoon. Thank you.